All right, so we wanted to make a fresh Linode server. All right, now I got to warn you, I've done this before, but it isn't gonna be completely. I'm gonna make a couple of mistakes, but I'll recover from them rapidly. All right, I hope. So the first thing to do is we've got Bonnie actually has got a document on it. That's the very first thing I should say. So let's go to this Google Documents thing. This is what I mean by screwing it up a little bit. There it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this in Chrome, because Chrome is generally the safest browser to get things right. So anyway, so she does. Now I think. All right, so these notes I had to do a server in Debian. So okay, so understand in the Linux, we're going to use the Linode cloud server. We're going to make a Linux server on there, and when you do things in Linux, you could choose your system. There's Debian, and I forget what the other ones are called. Ubuntu, I think, are the two most common. And so the neat thing about Linode is it's cheap as hell, and also you don't need to keep the servers running. You can you create one, and then you could turn it off, and literally it's only going to be like a quarter an hour or something, even for a very fat server. So we could choose, like, you don't have to think cheap when you're making these things. Just have to remember to turn them off. But you don't want to destroy them. What you want to do is you want to create you want to create an image of one. Okay. So then the next time you do it, okay. So the process is this: we create an account on Linode. We make a server. We configure it, probably as a Debian, and then we're going to go and we're going to download. We're going to configure the system with some stuff from Git. Then we can go out to GitHub, get the Jacktrip source code, get the Jack, install all that stuff, and then it'll be ready to run Jack and Jacktrip. That's great. So, and then we just do what we did with Tom a minute ago to actually run things from the terminal on the Mac. I'm just going to talk from a Mac perspective right now, because I don't want to do anything but Mac right now. And so then after the server is set up, what we do is, the first time we've done it, we're just going to make a backup image of it. And then after the backup image is done, and we're really done, we say goodbye to everybody, and then we delete we're going to delete the running image, so you don't have to pay for it while it's not doing anything. So that's what we're going to try to shoot for over here. And I just let somebody in. So it looks like Debian 10 is an option. Then with the Linode plan, we do create the server that we're going to access it through the terminal on the Mac. And then this is the dependency stuff I was talking about there. And then this command over here sometimes is long. It's got to be broken into two pieces. Then we clone the Jacktrip repo, and we're going to do the 1.3 branch here. I'm saying this all fast right now just to give us an overview. So again, you can always go back on the video, and you can always read this document I posted over here. Let's see. So we're going to go to GitHub, and we're going to basically make everything, and then we see that we got the right Jacktrip. Boom, 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 boom. I don't think we need this stuff. And these are the commands for actually running the thing. Okay, good. All right, now that we did all that, let's just see if we could do it from memory. Linode. Find the Linode, and we're going to go ahead and create a free account. And let's see, I'm going to make this Nick at underground.com. And you got to give it a username. I'll call it Nick Unda, and the password's going to be dogs123.
Something you can type quickly.
456. Doesn't like dogs. How about this? Fuck Trump 2020, bang. Like that?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad we're in agreement. So then I have to go to my account here and probably should get something from Linode here in a second. Come on, baby. Do. Well, this is going to take a second. So you know what? Let's just make believe. Well, no, it's got to come, man. Hold on. What a pig. Well, okay. Well, maybe this is boring. To hell with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just make believe you could sign up with a web service. We're going to make believe
it's not hard to do. Yeah.
Right. We're going to make believe you could put your PayPal or your credit card in there and do all that stuff. So after that's all happened, then what you would do is you would log in with your proper username. And interestingly, I chose the same password for this other username. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to copy and paste it there. And I'm going to log in. Good. So now I already have one that's, well, I have one that's probably an image. Yep. I had one that was an image before. How do I get rid of all this stuff on the right over here? Don't worry about it. But I'm going to just go ahead and create a new one. Okay. So I'm going to create a Linode. And I'm going to take, I guess I'm going to take the Debian 10. That's what you said. And, you know, I'm going to create it in Newark again, just because I'm closer to Newark. And I used this one before, the 16 gig one. That's pretty good. It's $80.
I've done the 1 gig and it's been okay, but yeah, whatever. And I get bills for like 7 cents. I mean, every now and then. So, yeah.
I got 12 cents.
Yeah. Big
So
spender.
yeah, you could do the 1 gig, but I'm feeling lucky.
This is Judy. Don't you want to use a dedicated CPU?
A dedicated CPU. Well, this thing is basically just running a cloud server with probably a couple of cores on it. That's the way these things are. See, it's got 6 CPUs on it. So that's actually really cool. So if there's just a bunch of
so that's a shared CPU instance. If you scroll up a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll up. There should be a tab. Okay, see, dedicated CPU is next to shared CPU.
Oh, up there.
Yeah. So there's other tabs, and so these are like these. This means that it's not shared with other people running programs on the node as well. So I was curious if you had tried them both.
No, let's try that. I like it. Let's try a 16 over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna learn something. Thank you. Okay, and then that's the root password. And I don't care about backups or any of that kind of stuff. Boom, gonna create it. And I think right now it's probably, did I forget something?
Create, that should be.
You created it?
Create.
Did it happen that fast already?
Did you click create?
Oh,
I did. What's it?
additional verification.
Is there an additional verification? Where do you see that? Oh, additional verification. Oh, I see. Well, hey, you know what? Maybe
that must be the dedicated.
The dedicated thing.
Maybe. Great idea, though. I like that.
Cool,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. We learned that. Okay. All right. So let's try that. Interesting. Okay, good.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks,
all right, Judy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say no here. Okay, then you're going to get the spinning box business over here. It says busy.
It doesn't take long. It'll come up.
Yeah, it'll just come up in a second. Okay, while that's happening, we're going to look at our next moves over here. Yeah.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you, okay, so I have an old Mac and it does not run Jacktrip past 1.1 something. So in other words, I can't run 1.3.0 on
that's
my
fine.
Mac. So I could set up the Linode server on my Mac, but I can't run Jacktrip on my Mac.
You could I believe we could set up the Linode Jacktrip to be 1.3 and then have your Mac come in at 1.1 or 1.12 or whatever. So that's probably not going to be an issue.
So if I wanted to set up a server myself on my Mac with a Linode server, I guess what I'm wondering is how.
Oh, okay.
Is that even useful to do that?
There's a terminology mismatch here.
Okay.
When you're talking about Linode, you're talking about a cloud server. You're not talking about making a server on your Mac. All right. Your Mac's client.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I would set up the server and on my Mac, but it would be a cloud server.
Right.
So once I started it, I could just go to my Raspberry Pi. Well, I'm not sure I understand what would happen.
Oh, Jane, I think, I'm not sure. I'll try. I welcome insight. There's two different things going on. One is the local machine Jack client and Jack server, the local on your Mac, and that's the 1.1 whatever. And then what we're doing here, what Nick is showing, what I'm beginning to crawl into learning and understanding, is in Linode we're dealing with a virtual server at some distance from wherever we are. So it doesn't depend on your own Mac operating system or your version, whatever. All it means is you're manipulating a server on the web. It's not you're running it, but you're running it remotely. You're commanding this other server.
Okay.
Right.
Does that help? I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I don't
that's a good explanation, yeah.
So basically I don't have to run Jacktrip on my Mac.
Right. Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
Only as a client. Only as a client.
Yeah.
Not as a server. Now, of course, you can. I don't want to open this can of worms, but I will. What the hell? You can make a point-to-point server, but we're not talking about that right now. You could make yourself a server, and then you could have people connect into you, but we don't want to do that. We want to use Linode because it's stronger connection. It's dead. It's a cloud server. You're coming in through your local residential internet connection. It's not going to work as well. Okay, so I went ahead and noticed that it's now my Linode is running. Okay, Linode. And so now the next move is to actually go in here. I'm going to type yes to this thing and put in my password. And now I'm actually out on the Linode. I created a Linode from scratch. Hey, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to go back to the document that Bonnie made here, and I'm going to go ahead and get the updates for Debian. So in Linux, you basically have these things called package managers, and this command apt-get, what it does is it'll go out and get these the distributions for various like tools that the system needs, commands, stuff like that, and that's what this is about. So we got the fresh Linode, but we want to make sure it's up to date. And I think probably here we're getting she says update Debian and install the apt build tools. So that's what I'm doing there, and it looks like it kind of worked. So now if I say which make, there's no make. That kind of bugs me. So it looks like maybe we need Chris Chafe's magic command. So now I'm going to just start doing. Oh, I see. So Chris's command looks like it'll get the rest of the make tools. Configuring Jack to enable real-time priority. Hell yeah. So it isn't for the faint of heart, so I'm glad I'm showing you all what this is really like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Faster than grading papers.
Yeah. So now it's time to practice that Lydian augmented scale, or whatever it is that you do. Progress 99.99%. Hello, yay! If I say rehash, that's not a bash command. Which make, dude. So we got make. All right, so now we update that. Hey, if this was like the 1980s or 90s, all this nonsense would have taken like 2 hours. We did it within like a couple of minutes. So yay, modern computers. So now we're gonna get Jacktrip. I'm in the /root directory now. People like that are hardcore system administrators would wince at what we're doing here, installing things in the root folder, but we don't care about that right now. So don't let that bother you. This is our private server. We don't have to think about multiple users. We don't have to have that paranoid sysadmin attitude, which I hate. So we're just doing everything as root. It means we don't get stopped by moronic security requests, other paranoid things. So now I've just pulled Jacktrip. Now if I say git branch, it'll say what all the branches are. Now it only thinks there's a main branch here. So that's what she's saying here. I have to probably say, yeah, yeah. Now the main branch right now I think is 1.2.1, but honestly we want to get all the branches, and that's where I got to go back to my notes. This is what I was talking about stumbling. This is what I want. The fetch all. All right, here it goes. So if I say git fetch all, then I should see the other branches. And if I say git branch again, it isn't saying it. Bonnie, you're killing me. Oh no, wait, I have to cd into source. Maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, by the way, you could go back through the history of your commands by hitting the up arrow or down arrow on your keyboard, just so you know, a little Unix tip. And also you could say history to see everything you've typed. So I want to try this guy again here, 15. And I want to say git branch again and see if it's there. It's still showing the main branch. So what is she saying? First time you clone a repo after a fetch, git branch command may return the default branch. You may look at the repo to see which branch you'd like to check out. Once the Jacktrip repo is on the clone server, do this. Okay, so now I think, has anybody, I wonder if we could just go straight to GitHub and look. I think so. We could look at what the branches are. Okay, look, I know the branch is this one over here, so I'm just going to grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know why the fetch command didn't work. Can I say git fetch? No. So I want to look at her note again. Did she say optional branch? Oh, I say git checkout. Your branch name? I don't know. This? Make sure the repo exists. Now you see, this is wrong. I don't want to be on a new branch called beta. So something went a little bit wacky over here. It's like there are these remote branches. Let's see, history here. Told you I was going to stumble. Let's go look at this in GitHub. All right. So there's the GitHub Jacktrip, I guess. All right. And look, there's 20 branches. There's the main branch. There's a dev branch there. Stale branches, active branches.
So you need to specify the name of the remote, and then the name of the branch. So you can do,
so what do I say?
So git fetch origin and then the name of the branch. So copy it. Git fetch origin space, yeah. No.
Space the name of the branch.
Branch, yeah.
Okay.
The name of the remote, the name of the git remote is origin by default when you do git clone.
Okay. So I say that, you think?
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. So now
why did fetch all not work? Did I don't say know. Origin fetch all maybe?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, it would be 2 for the long. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I actually don't know. Oh,
yeah, I can't remember. I don't know why that didn't happen.
It should be fetch -- all, but but anyway, that's.
I don't want this Jacktrip. I want to do it again. Let's go fetch it again.
Okay, so
we'll try
when
that
you
again.
change branches, Git handles changing the code version for you, so you don't actually have to blow it up. You just.
Okay. So let's see. So basically, what I want to say is, I think I want to run your origin command again.
Yeah.
This thing here.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Now if you do,
that looks good.
So now if you do git branch, you should see both main and.
I don't though. Look at that.
What the?
Maybe I have to check it out. Maybe I don't know. But is it gonna see? It says it switched to a new branch. I don't like that.
Okay. But it's set up to track that remote branch. Git pull. So you don't need to remove it every time. The purpose of Git is to have multiple versions of the code on your computer at the same time.
Oh, look, I understand, but what concerned me there is I created a local branch that had the same name as a remote branch. That's scary. Okay, so here we are again. Fresh pull of the Jacktrip tree. Now what do you think we should do? You can look at the repo to see which branch you'd like and simply say git check out your branch name. But I don't think that's happening. Oh wait, the first time you do the repo after a fetch, the command git branch may return this blah blah. So again, you think we should? What do you think we should say? Well, this is the branch here, and I could. Well, okay. I mean, the other thing I could do is I could just give up and download a zip, but I don't want to do that. We should be able to use git clone and specify a branch, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's just do this. Git how to fetch all remote branches. When in doubt, just ask the internet. Okay, let's see. You can fetch. Well, you know what? Why isn't he doing that? Why didn't this work? Fetching origin, and then if I say git branch, it should be all of them, but it's not. This is what's disturbing me.
I don't know why. Maybe there's some like git config setup, but you can do this git fetch origin and then the name of the branch, colon, the name of the branch again. Yeah.
Like this?
So,
or like this?
So like origin space, and then the name of the branch, then a colon with no spaces. Yeah.
Like that?
Then the name of the branch again. Yep. And then the name of the branch again. So the one on
like that?
The first one, yeah, the first one is the name of the remote branch. The second one is the name of the local branch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So
looks good.
Yeah, okay. So
now I should just be able to go to git checkout blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the right branch.
Yeah,
okay,
so do git log to see, like, to peek at the latest
yeah. Git log, how about this head minus like 20 or something. And now, yeah, this looks like real stuff.
Beta release cancel. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, good. That looks good. All right, and Julius was pushing stuff to this branch, which was the branch he did. So that's Judy that's been telling me all this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Judy.
Okay, Judy. Thanks.
Yeah.
So all right, so we did all that git garbage, and we should ask like Bonnie why we're having trouble with that. Anyway, so now I'm here. I'm going to CD to Jacktrip. I'm in Jacktrip already. I think I CD to source, and then I think there's a build command. Yeah. So then I'm going to go build. And actually, the cool thing is here, after we're done with this build, we're going to see whether we got the right branch, won't we? It should put it in the command, the git Jacktrip minus lowercase v command. It'll just tell us whether we did the right thing or not.
Yeah.
But that's some pretty cool git wrangling there. Do you do this stuff for a living?
Yeah.
What have you been working on?
Lately I've been working on a friend's open source project.
Okay.
To sync documents with your friends.
Okay.
Like a distributed way to sync documents. Like
Google Drive or something?
Yeah, but Google Drive is centralized. Like there's one single source of truth. And so then whereas
distributed.
Yeah, so you just have the things on your friends' you have the files, the documents on your friends' computers.
I see. That's hip. That's anarchy. I like it.
Yeah.
Anarchy in a good way, in a San Francisco way. There we go. 1.3.0. Sure. Bada bing. Well, hey y'all, that was pretty slick. We did it.
Hooray!
And we got a Jack D out there as well, which is 1.9.12, which if Chris's git commands were right, that's good. So now we're in pretty good shape here. So all we have to do is let's keep looking at Bonnie's thing here. Oh, okay. This goes into more stuff about sound cards, which I'm not really going to worry about right now. Okay, so now I can go ahead and start Jack D. I mean, here's where I'm actually. Yeah, okay. There it is. Fair enough. So I started with 64. That's greedy. I'm going to make it less. I'm going to make it something like 256. Oops. There we go. Oh, by the way, Control C is your friend in Unix. It'll kill whatever's running. You hit Control then C. Then if you hit Jobs, it'll show you if anything's running in the background, just in case because sometimes you could be Butterfingers and then hit something accidentally and just completely screw up. Then you may have two instances of things running, and that can cause all kinds of grief. So anyway, I'm going to start this thing with 256. There's Jack D. All right. Now I can start Jacktrip. At this point, I just go Jacktrip minus S blah blah. However, I think there's a command that I like a little bit better. Coming from various folks, Sarah Weaver and others. This minus SZ minus P4 command. Okay. SZ has to deal with something about suppressing spaces in the sound. P4 is hub mode, which means you're sending your audio to the server, then the server sends it back, so you could tell right off if you're getting a lot of slapback echo. This Q24 has to deal with the jitter buffer. Okay, so it didn't find Jacktrip because it's somewhere else. Where does Jacktrip live? Oh, it's in Jacktrip Builder. Oh, that's it. That's another one. You got to say // before a command if you mean to hit it in that directory. Okay, so now I've hit a hub server. So we're actually back where we were, 20 minutes ago or whenever it was when Tom set things up. So let's see. Oh, we're using Chrome for this, aren't we? Let's go to Chrome. Let me go to my Chrome tabs. All right, so there's my Linode here. There's my address. So you all are free to connect to this at 256. So I'll try to do it myself. I'll try to start QJackCTL at 256 and 48. Did I really do it? Yeah, I did do 48 in JackD, I believe. Yep, I did 48. So 256, 48. Move this thing out of the way. And move that out of the way. You got to make sure if you're on a Mac, you want to make sure this says core audio. You want to make this be 256, that be 48. Those are the three most important things. And then the server path has got to be right on the Mac. I'm going to assume for the purposes of this that we all have set our Mac up already. Now I'm going to start this, and if I look at connect, I should be able to connect capture to playback. Now I hear myself. So I'm talking to the new server. I'm talking to myself. I'm only talking to myself.
What's the IP again?
Okay. Let's get the IP. It's right there. 172.104, 12 and 23. And then the groovy thing to do is stick that in the chat window. So you go here to Zoom.
Okay, I think I'm in.
And there's a chat window somewhere. I always have trouble finding the chat window in Zoom.
If you're on the screen share, it's the end of the bar.
It's in the end of the bar here.
The three dots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do I see it? Chat. Chat. Not to be confused with chaat, which is like an Indian thing for garbanzo beans and dal, often maybe a samosa. So now I should be able to go. I'm going to go to my Mac. I'm going to pull another. I'm going to run the Jacktrip command to my Mac. I know that's what the server is. And which Jacktrip command do I like running on the Mac? I take this one. So there's my server again. Get rid of this. Here. I'm in. Good.
Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Yep.
So we successfully connected up a new Linode from scratch, pretty much. Fumbled with the Git business a little bit. We should ask Bonnie to update her document a little bit. And that's it. Okay, so now the other thing would be is we could all get.
Yes.
So can I ask you a hypothetical question? Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so
I just took myself off. Yeah. Go ahead, Jane.
So I use my MacBook. I set up a Linode server, cloud server. Yep. Now I go to my Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
And I want to, okay, so I set up the server and now I don't quite understand what happens after that. I set it up. And then I need to go into terminal somewhere. So can I go to my Raspberry Pi and do that?
Yeah. In general, what you need to know, by the way, can we just get off this thing and talk in Zoom again? Is everybody all right with that?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get out of this. When I can everybody hear me in Zoom?
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks.
By the way, I actually just rudely killed my client here, but the server is still running.
So that's important to know to stop the charges.
That's important to know to stop the server. Actually, let's get into that right now, and let's get back to Judy's thing in a second, okay? Now, in the spirit of engineering 101, I'm just going to stop my terminal. I don't give a damn. All the processes are gone. Okay. The other thing, oh, right. This is important. We've got to talk about how do you create the image. See, because we just went through a lot of trouble here, right? We don't want to lose all that work we did. So we have to go to images, and see. I think what I have to do is maybe stop the server first. Let me do that. So now I've got 2 Linodes, okay? This is the one that's running, see? I got number 1 powered off. Powered off. And see this busy thing? Important. Watch that busy thing. Don't jackrabbit too much. It's okay to jackrabbit your terminal and just kill it. And I'm not saying this like jackrabbiting thing or engineering 101 thing to be a smartass. I'm actually saying it because it's a waste of time if you don't think like that. If you do this kind of stuff all the time and you're going like, oh, let me carefully stop this, or let me, no, you're going to waste your life. Stuff is just, thinking like a technician that's building stuff. He's turning stuff on and off all the time. Anyways, just a small point. This thing is offline now. So now, when I go to images here, this is the one I created a couple of weeks ago. And now I'm going to add a new one. So now I select the Linode. And I guess that's the only one, because that's the one we just made. Debian US East. And I guess I'm going to make a Debian 10 disk. All right. And I'll say Jacktrip tutorial test, and then I create it. Let's see. Boom. I think it's creating it. See? It's creating it 41%. I should be able to go back to either one of these later. We'll do that too. So Judy, the main thing that you're going to want to do is.
It was Jane.
Jane. Yeah.
Jane, sorry. On the after you've created the Linode, you want to make a note of what the IP address of it is, okay? And then whenever you want to connect to it via Jacktrip on your Raspberry Pi or whatever the device is, that's the main bit of information you just need to know is what is the IP address of that Linode. Then you can connect to it from Jacktrip. Is that clear?
Yeah, but okay. So I guess I'm a little confused. There's 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
Other than you set it up in the server. I mean, you set up the server in the Linode app, and you have a server. It's a cloud server.
Yep.
But then at that point, what I don't understand is at some point you have to. So you've got the server, but somehow you need to do something in terminal, right?
Okay, you're right. There are two things. The two things are starting the Jackd and the Jacktrip on the Linode server.
Right.
That's number one, and you could go back through this video to look at that. And then number two is.
Okay, stop right there. I don't need to know how to connect. I know how to do that. I don't need that part. So.
Okay.
The first part that you're talking about,
mm-hmm.
That's what I don't understand. Do I have to do that on the same device that I set up the Linode server, or can I do it on a different device?
Could be a different device.
Okay, so how do I identify? So, okay, I've got my MacBook. I set up the Linode server. I mean, I'm using the app. Now, at this point, I need to go to terminal somewhere. I don't want to do it on my MacBook. Let's say I do it on my Raspberry Pi. Okay. On my Raspberry Pi, how do I identify? Do I use the IP address to?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Yes. If you look back in this recording, you'll see there was a thing where we said SSH root at and then the IP address of the Linode machine.
Okay, so that's the part I wanted to know.
Understood.
So that's what I can do on my Raspberry Pi.
That's it. And on any Linux system. Yeah.
Awesome. That's what I needed to be able to do. Thank you.
Now, if I were you, I would do it from your Mac because your Mac's got a better terminal. But if you don't have the Mac, you could use the Raspberry Pi.
Well, I guess what I'm concerned about is, like, say everybody else is on 1.3. My Mac is going to be on 1.1 of Jacktrip.
That's irrelevant.
So that might not work so well. If the server, if I started it using, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so here, let me be clear. You SSH to the server from wherever, I don't care which computer you use. Then you're starting whichever Jacktrip that you built on the server. In this example, we built the 1.3 Jacktrip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the clients, it doesn't matter which version they're using. That's up to Chris and Julius and all the people building the source to make sure that all works right. But I did a session last week where I had somebody on Jacktrip 1.1 on their client, and it connected to a Linode server on 1.3, for example. So that's not a problem. The server should just run whatever the latest and greatest is, and the clients just run what they can handle.
I think the problem is it's the other way around. If you're running with an older Jacktrip, the server, but the clients are all on a newer Jacktrip.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Make your server just be the latest and greatest.
I can't do. That's why I have to do it. Step one on my Raspberry Pi.
Okay, you're getting confused. The server doesn't matter how you SSH to it. You're creating the version of Jacktrip on the server that you pulled down from GitHub.
Not on your local machine.
It's sitting on the server. It's not on your local machine.
I think Judy,
where you SSH from is irrelevant.
Go Judy.
Go Judy.
I think we have to back up and note that the command SSH and then root at IP address, where the IP address is the IP address of the new Linode server that you just made. Like that opens up a new session, and it's as if you're sitting at the Linode data center, like with a keyboard and monitor hooked up to that computer. So it's no longer, so when you're in the SSH session, which you will be in until you press exit or close the terminal window, everything that you type is actually controlling the Linode cloud server. It's not controlling your Mac anymore, even though you're using your Mac to be the keyboard and
that's why I kept saying it's immaterial how you connect.
Yeah, so
to the Linode server.
So you don't even need to have Jack or Jacktrip on your Mac at all if you're just using your Mac to control what is happening on the Linode cloud server, which is like somewhere else. Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense, because that's what I was worried about. Now I get it. Cool. Now it makes sense.
Nice.
Thank you.
Good. Brilliant. Thanks for the clarification there. Great. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Excuse me for being a little bit rushy, but I do have to get to other things this evening. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
That was super helpful. Thank you both for clarifying, and thank you, Nick, for doing all this work.
This. Yeah.
Sure. And thank you guys for being there as an audience, because I wanted to make a video like this anyway, and this is probably better to have it as a live session.
Can I ask you, Nick?
Yes.
Have you experienced a Linode server and a Jacktrip virtual server? Can you speak about any differences you might notice?
What's a Jacktrip virtual server?
So it's a server you make when you have a virtual device.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you want to make, so you made it, like, say you made a virtual, you mean on your local computer?
Yes. I'm not sure what, they make it look all easy, right? So you plug in your virtual device, which is like the Raspberry Pi and the sound card and the blah all together, right? Mm-hmm. Then you access it through your web browser, because that's how you control it.
Yeah.
And then you set up a server. Right now, they're saying in beta it's free for up to 10 users.
Okay.
It's 2 CPUs, you say.
Yeah.
Like the same kinds of things you're talking about, but I'm a little confused of what is going to be better in the future, or if you experience both, or anything you can speak to.
Well, okay, so I'm still not completely clear, but can we do one thing here before I want to make sure I deleted this Linode here. Let's finish this little bit of business here. When you go to Linodes here,
our dashboard, I think maybe
the dashboard, yeah.
Is it?
It's this one. It's critical that we get rid of this thing. Sort of to the point of your question a little bit. How the hell do you get rid of it, Tom? Volumes, domains.
Again, we find the.
We want the three.
There
dot,
we are. The three dots.
You look for this 3-dot thing, and then you whack it.
And all you're deleting is that instance of Linode. You're not deleting the image that's stored, that's saved, so you can deploy that again.
Right. So we go back to these images here and deploy them again, which is actually worth a half a second of discussion here. You would then say just deploy to new Linode, and then where we could pick up where we left off. Okay, so that's the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So Angela, you've got let me try to reflect back what I think you were saying. You've got a Raspberry Pi, and you're controlling it from a web browser, and you're connecting to a Linode server. So you're the client with the Raspberry Pi. Linode's running as a Jacktrip server. Then what?
Not a Linode server. So I can connect to a Linode server, but I can also make a server that is a Jacktrip virtual device server.
On your Raspberry Pi? Or wherever?
Well, wherever. I don't think it's on. I don't think it's local.
No, it's somewhere else. That's all with the Mike Dickey's the virtual device studio device things.
Oh, you're talking about the Mike's dashboard?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is that what you're talking about, Angela?
Probably.
Okay, good. So yeah, I've got experience with both of those, and for me here in New York City, the Linode thing works a lot better because I could make a server just right over the river in New Jersey. But with Mike's thing, and it's part of why I got interested in Linode, Mike didn't have the bandwidth, sorry for the overloaded expression, to deal with making an AWS. He didn't want to incorporate Linode into his web app or whatever it would have been. So then we started looking for something else. Bonnie had worked on Linode in the past, and I asked her, hey, can you show us how to do it? And we had a session last week that was fantastic with local players here in New York. So we kind of got the problem solved. But I would like to try with some. I'd like to see how well it works for me having the server here versus and then playing with people in California versus bouncing off the Karma server. It's probably still not going to be that great. I mean, we could play. It'll be the same old story. You could play, freestyle cross coasts, but you're not going to be able to play in real time. Well.
So for local and people that are close to each other.
Yeah.
Not as big a difference. If you're trying to do bi-coastal, big difference.
Huge.
Geography. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got to run, but thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. And Nick, you're the host, so I can leave. You can still go.
So actually, what do I do with this recording? Do I just stop it and then if I just stop it, it'll
save it, right?
I say